All right. Welcome to the Spoiler Kings. My name is Tank Kramer. I'm with Brandon and Brian. What is up, guys?
What's up?
Same old.
Yeah. All the good
adulthood.
stuff. Yeah, right. Being an adult. New jobs, new babies, old jobs, same problems, all that good stuff.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So tonight we are going to review the newest Netflix movie called Day Shift, starring Jamie Foxx, Dave Franco, Snoop Dogg. We'll get into the trailer in a minute, and then we'll get into our likes, dislikes, and our official Spoiler Kings Nerd Huddle ratings. Then one last thing I want to plug real quick is we got some merch right there. So the new one we got is Make Hulk Again. We're all kind of sick of the puny Hulk. We want to see, big old mean smashy Hulk again. But it's just a joke playing around. We're not hating on anything or anybody.
We're not hating anything.
For fun.
This is all in good fun, people.
Dude, it'd be so awesome if in the back we says Hulk smash.
Yeah.
I'd be with that.
I might do something like that. But if you like the Spoiler Kings, they got some shirts, Panda and Grizzly, and some more to come if you like Dynasty Pylon and all that good stuff as well. So make sure you go check that out. Link is in the description for the Make Hulk Again t-shirt. And also don't forget to like and subscribe. We are on our road to 400. So we're a little bit past 340 right now. So we're trying to get to that 4. So make sure you hit that like and subscribe button to let us know you like what we are talking about. But let's get into this movie, man. So I'll bring up the trailer, and when you guys want to do the synopsis, a little breakdown of what Day Shift is all about.
Go ahead, Brandon.
All right.
Got this, man.
All right.
Go for it.
All right. First time. A hardworking dad out to provide for his daughter uses a boring pool cleaning job as a front for his real gig, hunting and killing vampires.
Yeah. that's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it.
A hardworking blue-collar dad who wanted to provide a good life for his quick-witted 8-year-old daughter. His mundane San Fernando Valley pool cleaning job is a front for his real source of income, hunting and killing vampires.
Yeah.
You got the IMDb one. I just Googled it. I almost went with the IMDb one. I wasn't sure which one to go with.
The best part of this whole thing is that the people that talk John Wick how to kick ass. Like, that's the best part.
Yeah. So anything else you want to add to the plot of this one?
It's a comedy.
It is very much a comedy, action comedy. Trying to think of any major kind of stuff. They do throw in the vampires are a little bit different. They're very Latin. I don't know if that portrays a lot of maybe get a lot of people to question or interested. A lot of violence, a lot of action. Some funny stuff. But I mean that's basically it, man. That's basically just a guy doing his job. So if you're watching live, you get to see the trailer with us. If you're watching on replay, it's gonna be blurred. So make sure you subscribe if you want to watch the trailer while we talk about it a little bit. But
everybody pees his pants the first time, guys. Everybody pees their pants.
Did you? Nah. Yeah. Sorry. So I'm gonna bring it down, and then we'll get into some of our likes. What did we like about this movie? Who wants to go first?
Go ahead, Brandon, since we let you go.
All right, yeah. Well, with as far as my likes goes, I really liked it. Almost had like a throwback vibe to it, like very much like buddy comedies of the '90s, like Lethal Weapon, or to an extent, even like The Last Boy Scout to an extent, or Tango and Cash was like another one. Yeah. Even though I know that one's kind of from the '80s. Even had a kind of like a vibe of John Carpenter's Vampires in there. I liked there were a couple Lost Boys references if you pay attention, especially obviously with the final line of the movie.
At the end.
they're really touting it as from the guys who taught John Wick how to kick ass, which really showed in the action sequences. The action sequences I thought were great. I know the guy who directed this was a former stuntman for those movies as well. I liked
J.J. Perry.
Yeah. J.J. Perry. His name was escaping me for a second. And Jamie Foxx, come on, like he brings it in pretty much anything that he's in. He was a lot of fun to watch. You could tell that he was him and Snoop and Dave Franco were having a fun time making this movie.
Yeah.
You could tell that it was a blast to make. You're not I didn't enter this expecting Shawshank Redemption. I just expected a fun time. It delivered.
Yeah.
I wasn't disappointed. I sat there pretty much glued to the screen the entire time. I liked that, it was, like he said, like we said, he was very much a blue collar everyman type character. Kind of relatable in that regard. Just wanted to provide money for his wife and his daughter. Megan Good, holy crap.
Enough said.
Yeah.
Carla Souza, the villainess, holy crap. But yeah, it was a fun watch. I had a lot of fun watching it.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you, Brian? You want to go next?
I thought it was a terrible movie.
Really?
No, but really fun. Like, I enjoyed watching this movie. I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was so like the plot is the same plot I've seen 15 times. Many
the
times. Plot
is
just like I don't think they had writers. They just came together. Like, hey, you know what would be real cool? Let's do this. That's how this entire movie was made. Like, it's just like, this would be real cool. Let's try this out. Let's do this too. This makes perfect sense. Let's try this out. Like, they were just writing it as they were going. I really feel like that's how it was going.
That's all it was.
But I was surprised to have a $100 million budget. It was just them coming up with stuff and doing stuff. Don't get me wrong. It was fun. It was funny. I enjoyed it. Like, it went real quick for me. Like, I was watching this. Like, this is great.
Yeah.
But it is definitely not a masterpiece of any way. So I don't see critics saying like this is a great movie. They're going to say this is crap. But it was very fun. This is going to be one of those things. It's fun to watch, and it's made for Netflix. I think isn't that what Netflix really is? It's for to have something good idea, but it's just fun to enjoy watching. That's what this is. It's great. So I enjoy those things. I enjoy Dave Franco. I really do. I like Dave Franco a lot.
I've always been a fan of his. I've always been a fan
fun.
of him. Yeah.
He's a less creepy version of his brother. Yeah.
What do you think about Jamie Foxx is great, but I think the little girl, was it Paige, his daughter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was adorable.
I love little girls. So there's so many parts of this thing that I just love. That it's just terribly written. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
It was definitely in that same. I think that, like you said, the $100 million budget. I didn't know it was that much. Went to all of the action scenes. All the action,
pretty much.
One in particular, like the first one that was probably a lot, but man, it had one of the coolest scenes followed by one of the lamest scenes. Like, at least for me, it's like, because when they meet the Nazarene brothers, which was Steve Howie, who always plays like either like a white trash or like a Euro or something stupid. He always makes but he was jacked in this one, man.
Yeah,
that
Steve
scene
Howie
in the house. And Scott Adkins.
Scott Adkins, who's one of like the best martial artists out there right now.
Yeah,
so underrated.
I want to see a sequel of that or a spin-off of them together. just because they were badass. Like the one they're like, hey, throw me one. And he like pulls a bullet out of the chamber, goes flying, all Matrix style, and then he like cracks his shoe. I was like, how many weapons is that stick? It's a stick, it's a sword, it's a nunchuck. It was all over the place. But that scene was so much fun because you have these guys being badasses Jamie Foxx shooting shit, and then Dave Franco like barely surviving with like
just
like a
kinda
neck
bumbling
brace on.
around.
Yeah, but seeing them together, Scott Adkins and Steve Howie together, like them being badasses and doing all this like cool Matrix type of stuff, and the way they were killing these guys, like the one he pulls out the magazine and puts it on the head of the zombie, and then the brother, I forgot who it was, but the other brother spins around and like loads his gun with it and like bashes them. It was so good. It was like so much fun. Like I thought that scene was amazing. Obviously the beginning intro scene was really good too, but that kind of got spoiled by the trailer.
Yeah, we already
with him shooting the grandmother. But
Yeah.
I thought this one was way better. And yeah, that whole like when he says it's a hive and they all just start coming out of literally the woodwork. Like one literally busts out of a cabinet. I was like,
like their little mice.
It
was like mice. Like, it's just
oh man, like that scene was so much fun because that and I think it was right in the middle of the movie. So like for me, it was like it led up to that, and like there was so much fun, and then you're kind of like, all right, what's going after that? But oh man, it was so good that scene. But the action in all of the action was probably the star of the show. Was seeing all the cool parts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the action was the foundation of the movie.
Let's talk about the bad part then.
Yeah. So I want to follow that up. So after having that great scene, it's followed by the car chase, which I thought was so lame, so stupid, especially her playing the game as he's driving exactly the same, like making left turns or right turns and shoving people off the road. I thought that was so lame. And usually car chases are kind of cool. This wasn't a cool car chase, if that's possible. But definitely one of the most where I was like, this is dragging on, and I really don't care anymore. And then for me, after the greatest scene in the movie, it was just all downhill from there for me. Like the ending was kind of
it wasn't an ending. I'm telling you, they were sitting there talking like, hey, so how you want to end it? I don't know, let's just end it.
Yeah. Ended how we started it. There's that trope.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So nice little twist of who the lady in the beginning was to the main villain of the movie. That was kind of interesting and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, the ending was probably the worst part of it. What they did with Dave Franco, I didn't like that.
Yeah.
The neighbor. Who was the neighbor? What was her name? Heather, yeah. Yeah. That came out of nowhere. I was like, what? It's just it was a lot of randomness that kind of got put together at the end. I was just kind of like, But
literally, I'm telling you, they didn't write a script. You ever seen freestyle rapping? It was just freestyle acting. So hey, we're gonna go with this. Here's the scene. Let's go. And then they'll say the words, and they went back and played it back, and they wrote the script down after they said the words. That's what it was. Because Snoop just was all over the place. I mean, it just didn't make.
Snoop was being Snoop.
That's all he was. Yeah. He was just making things up as he came along. Like I'm telling you, they just gave him and scene. Let's go. Let's just improv. Let's go. But I enjoyed it. I still enjoyed it. I don't know how I would rank it. But
we'll get that in a minute.
It was fun for 2 hours, but I mean, there was no writing. I just don't see anyone wrote anything. There's no idea of tempo or story pacing or anything like that. It was just stuff happening, and
I get that.
That's in every scene was just new stuff. Like, all right, we're gonna do this stuff too, and you're like, I've seen, and everything that they did was something you've seen in another movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was all recycled stuff.
Yeah, I mean what they did with the vampires, I thought was kind of cool because they're very limber, but it reminded me more of Exorcist than vampires. So I don't know how I really felt about that because it was kind of cool, and then it got overplayed to the point where like I was over it. I was like, okay, cool, they're all contortionists. Yeah.
Say why?
Yeah, I don't know. What about you, Brandon? What are some stuff you didn't like?
Just like you said, the Heather character, she came out of nowhere. Like you could almost kind of cut her scenes and it would have really made any difference. The villain played by Carla Souza, kind of a flimsy villain, didn't have like the strongest motivation at all. The whole real estate thing, I wasn't really quite rolling with. And oh, you killed my daughter, you know. It just she didn't really do terribly much for me as a villain. Like even to an extent, her motivation felt very shoehorned. Like as a whole, she just felt very shoehorned. It just felt like a villain just for the sake of having a villain.
Yep. What's the best part of having a villain? Something that someone who's relatable, someone you can understand why they're the way they're coming. Those are good villains. That was nothing. It's just nothing of what you got.
Yeah. So, you know, really, it could have, as weird as it may sound, you could have really just focused on Jamie Foxx, you know, trying to, you know, raise the money to retain his wife and his daughter. I don't even think there needed to be like a big baddie, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
that would have been like the Craig Robinson TV show that we talked about on Peacock. It would have just been like killing it. That's just what it would have been the exact same thing. You had to have some type of antithesis like to him, like some type of bad guy.
It could have been the boss who let him back into the union or something like that, you know. It could have been something very common.
But now you're talking about someone who wrote something and actually thought about where they're going to go. Well, from the start, like, hey, this is where we're going to go to the end, instead of just saying, we're back at the beginning.
Yeah, it just felt like, let's make this, you know, generic villain because we need one.
Yeah,
you know,
I feel like the bad guy could have been the time. Like he had to get the money before Monday. Like that was enough of a suspense where you're like, is he going to get it? And then have a big fight. You know, like you already had that big fight in the house. Have another big fight. You know, like, but they I don't know. They cheaped out in the end. I feel like, with it.
What else? I think, like we said, the twist with Dave Franco didn't really need to be there. You know, it just seemed like they, you know, they were just kind of going like
he was there. It had to be.
They just needed to, you know, it felt very like it went the same route as Shaun of the Dead, or you know, did anyone ever see this movie called Burying the Ex?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, it's with Anton Yelchin and R.I.P. by the way, Alexander Daddario. Like there was a similar plot point near the end of that
yes,
movie.
I know what you're talking about. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Alexander
Daddario.
But there was a similar plot point in that is what I'm getting at, and it didn't really need to be there. You know, it didn't really, you know, him is kind of like the pencil pusher character, you know, that was kind of thrown out in the field. That was enough, you know.
Yeah. Doing what they did to him, I thought was kind of dirty. You know, because I don't know if they plan on making more, because it kind of seems like they did the way a lot of open stories that they didn't finish. You know, it was like, how is he still going to be part of the union? Like, I don't get that. You know, so there's a lot of questions unanswered that I think they might be able to do. For sure, I want a spinoff of the Nazarene brothers. I want a spinoff of that for sure, because like just those guys kicking ass for like an hour and a half. I'm cool. You know, and
I'm totally in for that.
Yeah, I can see them doing a sequel, though, with it, just because there's so many unanswered questions, like why were all these vampires hanging out together when they shouldn't? You know, like
where did they come from? There's so many unanswered questions. Like what was going on? How? That
was another thing that I hated about that. Go ahead.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of you know, in that regard, like I said, John Carpenter's Vampires, or you know, like one of my favorites that I've constantly referenced, which is Fright Night, where they don't they don't really go into where the vampires come from or how they came to be, or they just were, you know.
They're assuming you know.
Mhm.
You're in the
Which
world,
is not,
you know.
yeah, it's not bad. They give you enough lore where there's like 5 kind of types and this and that and stuff. But then in the house scene, it ended with like, oh, well, these don't hang out with these group and this group doesn't do with this group. And then right as like it was getting to a point where like, oh, that's interesting. All right, well, I gotta go. You know, it was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, and then never touched on it ever again. Like I was
Yeah.
like, what's going on? Like I want
Yeah.
more, you know.
Yeah, there were just too many gaping loose ends.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. So I could see them doing if this does well, I could see them doing a sequel for sure with it.
Mhm.
All right.
Um,
Would you
and
rather
then-
see this or do you rather see Zombieland 2?
Ooh, damn.
Because they both got cool killing. I mean, at least you care about the characters of Zombieland 2. This, not so much, but I mean, but better action was probably in this one. Like, where do you rank this in the vampire, zombie, you know, those type of
like
genre?
supernatural kind of.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Good question. I don't know.
You know, I didn't hate Zombieland 2, to be honest. The worst crime it committed was it was just very, very forgettable, especially in comparison to the first one.
The problem was they waited 10 years.
They
Zombieland
waited
2,
10 years. They waited too long.
if they would have came out 3 years later, I think it would have actually done well.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. I like this one more than Zombieland 2.
Yeah,
I do.
Same.
I think I was more into it in the first and second, act of this movie more than I was at all in Zombieland 2. But and Zombieland 2 I didn't hate, but this one was at least more better.
Zombieland 2 at least had an ending. This didn't have an ending.
That's true.
The middle of the movie of Daybreak is much better than Zombieland 2.
Yeah.
Like, it had a story, but it really didn't need to have one. It really just shouldn't have.
Yeah. So one last thing before we get into our ratings was obviously you have Jamie Foxx, Snoop Dogg. The music better be on point. And I saw Brandon actually put something on Facebook talking about the music and how'd you like the music in this
awesome.
one? The soundtrack, the soundtrack was definitely having two music, kind of, I don't say legends, but kind of legends like these guys.
Mhm.
I mean, the music got to be good. So what do you think about it?
It was like another character.
Yeah.
It's probably the reason why you enjoyed the movie as much as you did.
Mm-hmm.
Because it kept you involved. There was no times where you're just, without caring about anything because the music kept you going. So that's great.
It felt like a character in the same way, obviously like not as on par, but it felt similar to the way the music in something like Baby Driver or Guardians of the Galaxy felt like a character as well.
Just like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. I like even that stupid country song when Snoop Dogg first showed up.
Yeah.
Like I forgot what it was. I'm like that even really fit well too. And that was like the only like weird one, but Snoop Dogg coming out of his truck, it's all hot boxed and
that
was funny. But even at the end, I really didn't expect Ice-T's band, the Body Count.
Yeah, Body Count. That was crazy. Yeah, that was really unexpected.
Really well. Yeah, and shout out to like Ice-T, too. So they were definitely trying to keep it to L.A. Is Ice-T L.A.? Ice-T's L.A. right?
Yeah.
Like
he's
LA
not Ice Cube, but Ice-T's still L.A.
Well,
yeah. Or at least Body Count is.
Yeah. But cool. You guys want to get into our ratings?
Sure.
All right, bring this up. Cool. So here at the Spoiler Kings, we rate things a little bit easier than other places. We don't do 1 through 10 or 5 stars, whatever. We do something that's nice and simple. Now, later, or never. Now means you got to go watch it right now before it gets spoiled. Later means you can wait until a little bit, when it comes out on streaming or while you're doing the dishes. And then never means just skip it. It's not worth killing your brain cells. So that being said, I'll let Brandon go first. What do you think about this one, man?
I'd give it. This one's kind of tough. I'd give it a lower end now.
Okay.
It's a fun time. This is very much the definition of turn your brain off popcorn movie. Shut your brain off one Saturday, have some fun, get some snacks, maybe a couple beers, watch it. Yeah, I'd give it a lower end now.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fun time. Don't go in expecting Inception or Shawshank Redemption or anything like that.
Well, yeah,
just some fun action scenes. That's really all.
Yeah,
that's really all.
Cool. What about you, Brian?
I give it a straight later.
Mm-hmm.
Just plain and simple. This is a later. When you have time and you're doing nothing, or you look at your girlfriend or your wife and you say, "All right, you want to watch something?" And you're like, "Yeah, we're gonna put on." This is that thing.
Yeah.
This is the thing to watch. I mean, it's silly, it's goofy, and it keeps your attention, and it's going to be fun, and you're going to enjoy it. It's going to be, you're going to smile the entire time watching it. So I feel like this is the exact thing of later. I'm going to Netflix and chill on whatever night, and this is the movie to watch.
Yeah. I'm right there with you, man. This is for me a later. It's super fun. The action is some of the best action I've seen in a while, probably since John Wick. Just the way they killed the vampires was really interesting. The ways that they didn't really change anything vampire lore wise. I don't feel like everyone has their own, there's the Twilight vampires, and then there's like the Anne Rice vampires. Like this one was just kind of like a mix of everything a little bit. But just the same way that they killed, the way they had to kill, like you couldn't burn them, because they had the teeth were their money. So, but yeah, everything was just it was fun, high action, no real sense of plot. I feel like, or I don't want to say that, very simple, super simple, bare bones plot. He has to get money, and that's it. I mean, that's it. And
is it a plot if you really don't know? Like, Indians, how much of a plot is it really, guys? I don't know.
I mean, even you know what? I take that back, because even that plot doesn't really get into it. Because does he get the money at the end?
Does he get the money?
I
don't know.
You just kind of you're just kind of going under the assumption that he does, but they leave it up in the air. There was a lot of unresolved, man.
It seemed like they forgot that was the whole point of the movie, and then they're like, "Oh, it's the end."
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about the money.
Leave it up to the audience. They love that shit. So I'm giving it a later. So we got a now and two laters.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, excuse me.
I was on the on the fence about giving it a later, but like I said, I had fun with it. Well, I think we all did.
That was super fun. But, it was super fun. Rotten Tomatoes though gave this one, the critics gave it a 58% out of 83 reviews.
Totally.
And the audience, that makes sense for the critics. The audience also gave it a 59%. So that is as close as we've seen ever. 58, 59. No one really liked it that much. I'm
they didn't hate it either.
They didn't really hate it. Another mediocre, ultimately forgettable Netflix movie. It remains true to Netflix formula. Which is kind of true. Big name actors, shallow plot, poorly executed humor, throwing some over the top gore, and you got another 2 hours of wasted potential. They're not too far off. The only thing I would add is
great action. It was
great action. Great action. That would be the only thing I would add into that one. But that's kind of where Brian B is. That's not too far off. You know, so I don't recommend it, but I don't hate it. Hate it. That I watched it either. You know, yeah. Kind of how I feel.
Yeah.
Would you guys watch it again?
Oh, definitely.
Again.
Yeah.
I'd
If
watch it again.
my wife wanted to watch it with me, I would watch it again. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. Like we watch it together. I don't know if we'll watch it again. So, yeah. But yeah, man. That's about it for that one. You know. But I mean, if anybody, if you're watching, you know, you made it to the end, let us know what you thought about Daybreak. You know, what did you like it? You didn't like it? Was it stupid? Was the action lame? Stuff like that. You know, the humor I thought hit. You know, it wasn't the funniest humor. Like you're not gonna like, you know, like break a rib laughing.
Yeah, you're not gonna like. Yeah, it's not gut busting laughter.
Yeah.
It was like,
that
was pretty good.
Yeah. But cool. Anything else, guys?
Pretty much it on my end.
It's a good Netflix and chill, guys. I'm telling you, this is what it is. This is what Netflix and chill is for. This is that movie right there.
Yeah. Don't have to put a lot of brain cells into it, so you can literally, you know, if you're like Snoop Dogg, maybe smoke one, watch it, you know, or have a beer, just hang out in bed and watch it. It's gonna be one of those movies. But cool. But that is it for us this week on the Spoiler Kings. If you're watching live, stick around. We'll hang out for another minute or so. If you're watching our replay, thank you. Please like the video and subscribe. If you want to be part of our live shows, make sure you check us out every Monday. And I think going forward for the next couple of weeks, we're going to be on Fridays with She-Hulk. Yeah. So once She-Hulk is finished, we'll see what day we land back on. Appreciate everybody. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
If you're watching live, stick around. But we will see you guys next week with another movie review. Later.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys.